Welcome back to another episode of the Gridiron Warrior podcast. Today's a solo episode, short and sweet, but wanted to take some time to talk about the Gridiron Warrior Summer Summit. And if you're on my email list or you're somebody that follows along or you've been listening to the episodes, you know this is coming down the pipe. This is going to be the event of the summer right here in Kingston, Rhode Island, July 18th. And, I want to talk about it because it's something that is obviously a big deal for me. Something I'm putting a lot of work in, having a lot of pride in, and I think it's going to be an event not only this year, but for years to come. This is something that I think people are going to want to turn out to and not only participate in, but also I think people are going to want to speak at this. I think you're going to want to be part of the show. So let's get into it. Obviously, Saturday, July 18th, right here, Kingston, Rhode Island. We're going to do it in the varsity weight room. Let me take a step back. First things first, who's it for? Right? We have football coaches presenting at this event. We have strength and conditioning coaches presenting at this event. One, my thought is combine the two worlds, right? We spend so much time worried about S&C or football coaches doing their football thing. We need to be both. You need to be hand in hand working together. So my thought is bring them in together. So we'll go back and forth, football talk, strength talk, football talk, strength talk. And I think football coaches have a lot to learn from the strength staff. I think the strength staff has a lot to learn from football coaches in terms of how they coach and the things they say and how they get the kids in the right positions. So I think that's important. Two, I built this for the high school coaches, right? There's plenty of coaches out there that have to wear both hats, that have to be a football coach. And then when practice ends, they got to go in the weight room and put the kids through a workout. And not everyone, is a certified expert in both. I'm certainly not an expert in football, and there's plenty of football coaches that don't have their CSCS, but are still managing and trying to do the weight room the right way. So for the high school coach that has to do both things, I want to make sure that you learn both sides of the equation. You learn some new football stuff you can implement at practice, but then also some stuff that you can bring into your weight room or bring into your, pregame warm-ups or pre-practice warm-ups and things like that. So that's who this is for the people that get excited not just about their expertise in their craft, but want to learn the whole thing and the bigger picture, and also the people that have to wear multiple hats and juggle multiple roles. So that's first things first. Like I said, we're bringing in both sides of the equation, which I think is different than a lot of other places. A lot of other places will only, if it's a football conference, it's all ball. If it's a strength conference, it's all strength conditioning. Now, that being said, right, I've spoken at football conferences. So there is interest, right? It's just not maybe as blended as the way we're going to do it here. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be in the varsity weight room right here at URI. Obviously, I've got the weights. I've got the rack side of things for our strength presentations. For our football presentations, we have a 30 by 10-yard strip of turf. So plenty of room there. Now, maybe if we're doing some crazy special teams drills, we might need to open that space up. But I don't plan on doing that. So in July, even though it's going to be hot, we're going to be inside. We're going to get all the work done that we need to. We're going to have demos. We're going to have, obviously, as coaches, if you want to participate, you can jump in and participate, but we'll have kids in there demoing, getting coached up as well. So you can see what the drills look like from, example, Andy Ryland. He's going to talk about tackling. So we're going to get some bags. We're going to get some crash pads out. And, he's going to show us in-season tackling drills and progressions. We'll go through the speaker lineup in a bit here. So, but it's going to be right here at Rhody. And it's going to be right here in our varsity weight room. If you want to see how it operates and how we do things at a high level here, give you inspiration or give you ideas, I mean, that's a pretty cool thing, too, is to step on campus and see what we got going on here. So doors open at 7. Get some coffee going. Get some muffins going. Start meeting the sponsors, things like that. Start just mingling, catching up with people. Our first presentation's at 8:30. We'll go through the entire lineup right now. We're starting the day. I thought, hey, start the day. You might want to start with warm-ups. Start covering that. So Jack Dustin from Endicott College, Division III. They've been rolling. He was a previous podcast guest, so go back and listen to his episode if you haven't already. But he's going to talk about winning before the whistle, right? How do you rethink the warm-up? How do you do some things differently? Grinds my gears doing the same every warm-up, every day, same warm-up over and over and over, and not addressing maybe some certain qualities and needs. Coaches tell me, I can't get my speed work in anymore because of practice. That's BS. You can build it into your warm-up somehow. So he's going to do that. He's going to do that on our turf. He might use some weight room stuff too if he's going to show some pre weight room warm-up stuff as well. But it's going to be active. And this is a big thing I didn't mention earlier. All of our presentations are live and they're hands-on. It has always grinded my gears. Now I've run conferences as the NSA state director in the past for strength coaches. I've had to put some conferences together. I've spoken at plenty of them now, right? And the format now, not every time, because I've done some hands-on ones, but not every time, is you get up there in front of a PowerPoint. Everyone's sitting down in the front of the room. If they're lucky, they get the slides ahead of time. If not, they're just taking notes on their notepad. If it's a great presentation, you're kind of paying attention. If it's not, you see people with their laptops out, and then they're surfing the web. They're pulling out their phones. Maybe they just leave because it doesn't relate to them. You know, uh, always funny when you go to a football conference and 3/4 of the things are like, I don't believe in that philosophy, or that's not what we do with our kids. It's not the system that we run. So you've automatically eliminated so many talks and presentations because they don't apply to you and your situation. So we try to eliminate that by covering topics that are universal, um, making it hands-on and live so that you see things that real coaches do and implement on a daily basis. Take one more step back. I feel like I'm peeling layers on this onion right now. The original inspiration is I'm sitting there at practice, and we had Paul Pasqualoni, who used to be the head coach at UConn, retired now. He's been he lives in the area, comes by, hangs out, likes to do pass rush stuff. So after practice, he's grabbing our pass rushers and he's working some moves with them. He's working this. He's watching film and saying, "Hey, I saw last week where our set up to come back inside wasn't that great." So he's working drills with them. And you can tell this guy's retired, doesn't have to do this. He's doing it because he loves coaching ball. He's got probably more experience than all those kids combined, and he's getting after it with them, and he's giving them drills and giving them knowledge and reaching them and connecting them. And I sat there and I just watched him coach. I said, this is awesome. I would love to see 10 coaches like this. I would love to see, you name it. I would love to see Dante Scarnecchia just coach up some offensive linemen, right? So, shot in the dark. We call Dante. Dante says, I'm in. Love it. Okay. So that's, again, take a step back. That was the idea behind everything's live, everything's hands-on. Will there be a PowerPoint? Maybe one or two, right? If we need to see some actual context, if we need to see a drill that we can't necessarily maybe demo in the small area, sure, right? So it'll be there. It'll be available. Will there be chairs? Yes. If you need a chair, if you need to sit down, I'm not going to say you can't have a chair, right? But the whole goal is to be up and active and engaged and watching, right? And if you got to move a different spot to see, coach explaining it in a different way, do that, right? That's the whole point of this. I want you to feel like you are present, engaged, and involved the entire time, because that's how you learn. I think more of us are visual, hands-on learners. Get involved. Do the drill yourself, right? If you came and you brought another member on staff and you want to practice, try it out. Now, I don't know. Next thing we know, we have everybody tackling each other on the ground. We might have to change our conference up, but I have enough insurance. I think that we'll be okay. So, anywho, we come back to the starting lineup, right? Start the day with Jack Dustin, Endicott College, doing the warm-ups. It's going to be great. Hopefully give you some new ideas, whether it's pre-practice or pre-weight room. What can you do differently? How can you check more boxes? How can you keep it fresh? That's number one. Number two, right, we come in, next presentation is programmatic special teams with Nic Keene. Nic Keene is the defensive coordinator at UNH, right? A little rival with URI. We gotta put our differences aside for a little bit. He's going to talk about his time at Springfield College and when he was the special teams coordinator at Springfield College. As a proud Springfield College alum, when he was in charge of special teams, you noticed it. I go back and I watched and I took pride being a player myself. I took pride in our special teams unit when I was there. He was doing some phenomenal stuff with them, and they were having a ton of success. And there's a reason they've had multiple playoff runs. There's a reason they've gone deeper and deeper in the playoffs every year. Part of it was his influence with special teams. So he's going to go over some drills and some circuits and some ideas for the third part of the game. And I don't think we cover special teams enough. And he's going to do a really good job of talking about how do you get the offensive players to use their skill set on special teams? How do you get the defensive players to connect and relate to special teams with their skill set? Because you need, obviously, offensive, defensive players. Now, small school, you need people that play every side of the ball, but you need people to come together for something that you're not a specialist in, right? You're not a specialist in special teams. But you need to come together to operate and work on a unit, and that's such a huge, potentially game-changing aspect of football. So how do you get people to come together? What drills can you put together to do that? So awesome that he's going to share some insight from his time at Springfield College as a special teams coordinator and show us some drills that we can immediately put into practice at August camp. If you're a football coach, you can immediately go in and put those in. After that, 11 o'clock, we get into the main event, Keynote. I mean, obviously, I think that this is worth the price of admission itself, but, the standard of offensive line play with Dante Scarnecchia. And, I am still blown away that, I had a friend connect me, gave me Dante's number. I called him. I said, Dante, this is what I'm thinking. I don't want a PowerPoint. I don't want any of that. I want you hands-on. I want you, if I get you a couple offensive linemen, I want you to just coach them up. I don't care what you coach them up on. It could be run game. It could be pass game. It could be an hour of teaching double teams. I don't care. Whatever you want to talk about, and just coach these guys up. And he's like, I love the idea. I'm in. So fired up about that. Obviously, being a Patriots guy, grew up a New England Patriots fan. This is sick. He's got the Super Bowl rings. I don't think he needs to bring those to prove it. But we're just gonna watch him coach. I don't know, man. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that. Like, just watching him coach and connect. And obviously, he was the GOAT of offensive line coaches. So his ability to connect and get, not at his level as grown men, but how do you get the message across and how do you get things to connect? So excited to watch him work. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm just to watch him work and see what he says and the language he uses and how does he put the kids in the right position. And then obviously from a schematic standpoint, he's going to go over some coaching stuff too, which I think is going to be great. So cool. That's the highlight. That's the middle of the day right there. Excited for that. After that, we got halftime. We got lunch. Got to have some lunch. Black Dog BBQ, local barbecue place here in Rhode Island. They're coming in. They're dropping off. We got a whole menu. I'm going to look right now. I'm looking at my menu. We got some pulled pork, got some wings, mac and cheese, cornbread, coleslaw, you name it, man. So that's going to be sick. We'll have that locked and loaded, ready to go for lunchtime. You can eat inside. You can eat outside. We can talk to sponsors while we're doing it, whatever you want to do there. Kick off the second half of the day, right? Start with Jim Kiritsy, who's the Director of Strength and Conditioning at the United States Naval Academy. He's going to talk about more pre-training movement ideas, especially lateral change of direction type stuff. And his big concept is chaos training. He's got a podcast. We're going to drop it here within the next week or so, talking all about this, all about his topic that he's going to talk about at the Summer Summit. So I'm not going to go into too much detail there, but this idea of chaos training, getting kids ready for August camp so they're not huffing and puffing the first couple practices, which would be really cool. Excited for his one, especially me. Like, I steal a lot of ideas from him, so I'm excited to learn that. Following him, we got Andy Ryland, right? Andy Ryland, if you want to learn how to tackle, you call Andy. That's how this works. So Andy's going to come in. He's going to talk about in-season tackling progressions, because one thing that grinds my gears is, your everyday drills, your pre-practice drills, your first period, your individuals. If you're doing the same tackling drills in August that you did in October, or if you're doing them in November and they're the same ones from August, you haven't progressed them, you haven't made them harder, you haven't changed them, there's an issue there. Kids aren't developing and learning and growing. That's not true. We know that they should be getting better at tackling as the season goes on. So you need to make the drills better and harder and more challenging. So Andrew's going to talk all about that, all about tackling and drills, and just hopefully load up our library of tackling drills that we can do with the kids. So he'll do that on the turf. We'll get some of our guys to demo. Be cool there. And then I'm going to finish the day. I'm doing my armor building protocol, right? We're talking neck, we're talking traps, and everything in between. I think for coaches, it's so important to train your neck, train the traps in season. You can't neglect it. You can't just say, well, they're sore from practice. You still need to protect the neck, especially concussion risks and things like that. So we're going to talk all about how to correctly train. And it's not just shrugs, right? You got to do more than that. So how to correctly do neck training exercises. How can you do that if you have equipment like Iron Neck, one of our sponsors of the event? If you don't have Iron Necks, you can do it with manuals. You can do partner work. How do you coach partner work correctly so you don't have a kid freaking crank somebody's neck and then he's got a sore neck the next day? So coaching other coaches on how to do that correctly so they can implement it with their kids is big for me. And then we'll talk some sequencing, how many sets and reps. Do you do this, in the middle of the week? Do you do this early in the week? Where does this stuff fit in? And then I'm going to give everyone a little taste of some vision training stuff too, that I've really started to explore and learn more about, because, it's one thing to have a strong neck in a collision. It's even better when your vision can see the collision coming and brace itself before the collision happens, right? A lot of vision training has been shown to reduce concussion risk or concussion impact. So we're going to add that into our talk there at the very end, which I think is going to be cool. I'd be remiss to not mention our sponsors, because we've got some really cool sponsors coming to this event. Obviously, Perform Better is the title sponsor, right down the road from us. Phenomenal. They do so much stuff for our weight room already in terms of outfitting them and equipping them. They're going to be here. And if you need stuff, I mean, they're right up the road. So it's one of those things, super easy if you need to get some equipment and things like that. TrainHeroic and Plyomat, two sponsors. You hear them every podcast episode, but they've been fantastic to me. And for programming, right, you want to get your kids, you're done with the pen and paper. You want to move on to something a little bit better, something they can bring with them everywhere, something they can do a better job of tracking their weights with. TrainHeroic's the way to go there. Obviously, Plyomat's, we're going to have Plyomat out. We're going to be giving away a Plyomat as well as part of a raffle. So you pay $200, you come to the event, you might leave with an $800 Plyomat. Just saying. You don't know. So Plyomat's going to be there. I think they're the new and improved, upgraded version of jump mats. These things are solid. They last a lifetime. Try it out for yourself when you come here. They just updated their app as well, which is freaking next level. So you're going to love that. I mentioned Iron Neck. Iron Neck is another sponsor. We'll have at least one, if not a couple, that you guys can try out and demo at the event, which would be cool. We're going to raffle an Iron Neck off as well, right? So if you ever wanted those, you got a chance to win one. Rogers Athletic, the equipment company, they also do, so they do weight room stuff, and they also do football equipment as well, pads and things like that. So perfect, right, sponsor for this event because they already cover both worlds. They're going to sponsor. Abacus Sports, there's a lot of weight rooms and facilities in terms of flooring, so they're going to be here. Plae, another classic flooring company, weight room company, they're going to be here as well. And then Enduraphin, my go-to, you hear them every podcast episode, my go-to when it comes to protein shakes and protein recovery. They're going to be here as well, giving out shakes for everybody. Got goodie bags for us. So you're coming in, you're getting a T-shirt, you're getting lunch, you're getting a goodie bag, you're getting a drawstring Enduraphin bag, you're getting a whole bunch of swag stuff. You got an opportunity to win some really sick prizes. Aesthetics is giving out a custom belt. I've shown those on my Instagram before that we got here for our football team. But they're giving away a custom belt. We got some other stuff up our sleeve as well. Again, this event is something that is important to me because I want to give back to those high school coaches that have to wear multiple hats. I want to create an event that is different than every other presentation, every other conference that's out there. You're not going to sit here all day. You're going to be hands up. You're going to be active. You're going to learn things that you're immediately going to put into your August camp, your preseason, whatever it may be. You may go back to summer practice or summer workouts the following Monday and do a better job with neck training. That's my goal. I don't want to have 10 presentations and you only took 3 notes from one of them. That's not worth it to me, right? If you're paying, you're going to spend the day, you're going to come, you're going to be here. I want you to squeeze as much value as you can. I think you're going to get that and more. And I think this is going to be an event that people are going to be talking about. So you don't want to miss out. You want to be there. It's the Gridiron Warrior Summer Summit. One more time, Saturday, July 18th. Date's coming quick, right? We'll put the link in the show notes and all that if you want to sign up. Right, you can always go on any of my social media, anything like that. Comment Summit, DM me Summit. I'll get you the link. We'll get you signed up. We only got 100 spots. We're pretty much at halfway. Right, we got about 50 spots or 50 seats covered. If I'm launching this podcast episode at the right time, got about 50 seats left. So you want to get in there. You don't want to miss out because I'm telling you, your competition's probably going to be there. They're taking notes and they're getting ready to kick your butt too. So come check it out, and we'll see you guys at the summit.